Okay, this is video number 4 for today. Just going to talk about, this one's talking about using literature in evangelism. Okay, number 1, you may leave literature in public, or you may leave literature in a public bathroom or other public places. However, this sometimes gives the impression that your literature is not important, or at least it's not important enough for you to offer it in person. It really sends a bad message, and I wouldn't leave literature laying around, because people don't leave valuable, important stuff laying around. When you leave it laying around in public bathrooms and stuff like that, leaving tracts laying around, it just says this really isn't important stuff. This is really garbage. Or it's not really important enough for me to share it with you one-on-one. Or I'm ashamed of it and embarrassed about it, and I don't want to talk to you about it. And if that's the case, why would a person be interested in it if you were ashamed of it? All right, number 2 on literature, handing a person a piece of literature with a warm smile and an admonition to read it is often much more effective than leaving it lying around. So hand it to somebody and smile at them and say, hey man, I'm sharing Jesus today. You want some of this, man? And if they say no, say, all right, man, have a good day, bruh. All right, be blessed. If they say yes, say, hey, read it. It's really great stuff, man. You know, and smile at them, connect with them, and encourage them to read it. All right? And if it's somebody you know, it's even easier because you know them, right? And you can even say, yo, man, tell me what you think about it. And then maybe next week you can talk to them and say, what'd you think about it? It gives you a chance to talk to them about it at a later date. All right, number 3 on literature, leaving literature lying around. I'm going to skip that one. You can put your story in a track. You can write your own story in a track. This is going to be number 3. You can write your own story in a track. Here's my story. Here's how I became a Christian. Here's my story. You can take a picture of yourself. You can go to a print shop right down here in town or Office Depot or anywhere. You can have your picture put on a track, and you can have your personal story inside, and you can hand it to friends and relatives that are interested, right? So that's good. You could do that. Number 4, if you write well, you can write your own tracks. I write my own tracks. If you want some, I'm at 904-322-2693. I'll send you some of my tracks. I write my own tracks because a lot of the tracks I used to buy are just, they're too wordy, and nobody is going to sit down for 30 minutes and read your track. Or the words are like this big, and nobody's going to sit down for, 20 minutes and read those little words. Or they're really hokey and corny. So I write my own tracks. All right? I don't know what number this is. I think this is 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 6, make sure the message of the gospel is clear and unaltered in the track. All right? Make sure you get the message of the gospel out clearly if you're writing your own track or if you buy a track. Read it first and make sure, if I was not a Christian and I needed to come to Christ, could I read this track in a short amount of time and understand how to get to heaven? Right? All right? So, next, make sure the track has words big enough to read. Next, make sure the track is not too verbose, because nobody's going to sit around. People are busy, man. It's hard to get people to stop for 5 minutes, let alone 20. And you might say, well, if they don't want to stop for 20 minutes, then they need to go to hell. Well, don't have a bad attitude, man. Just try to get a good track with this, that is as succinct as possible. All right, next. Always give a track with a smile and a personal greeting. Never just hand somebody a track and walk away. Because what you're saying is, I don't even care about you enough to shake your hand or give you eye contact or smile at you or say hello. You're just a dirty, rotten sinner. I want to give you this track and leave and fulfill my obligation to give you this track. So you want to be personable when you give somebody literature. Next, if possible, tell the person what you're giving them. Yo, man, I'm sharing Jesus with people tonight, man. You want one of these? Share it. Or, hey, man, I got some literature on Christ. Would you like one? No, man. Or, yo, Khalil, let me holler at you. Yo, man, You ever think about heaven and hell and where you going and stuff like that? Yeah, man, sometimes. Listen, man, this is cool. You should read this, right? That's good stuff. All right, holler at me. Tell me what you think later. All right? So tell them what you're giving them before you give it to them. All right? Next, choose specific tracks for specific people. You know which person needs a track talking about hell, and which person needs a track talking about the love of God, and which person needs a track with just the gospel plainly stated, and which person needs another kind of track. So give specific tracks to specific people instead of just one generic track that you use for everybody. Because different people are different and they're at different stages of their lives at different times. And last but not least, follow up by asking the person if they read it and what they thought about it. That might give you an opportunity to share more. All right? All right, let me check my time. Matter of fact, I'm just going to start another video. All right? I'm going to start video number 5.